56 years just means I've been able to fool a lot of people for a lot of years that I knew what I was doing. So thank you, Trish. Wow, it's an honor to be up here. I'm going to be a weeper. Like I cry watching Star Trek reruns. So, but I'd like to add my congratulations to all the inductees. It's an honor that's much deserved. One of my favorite sayings is, "It's a great day to be a patriot," and every day is a great day to be a patriot, but some days are sweeter than others, and this is one of those days. Okay, here we go. It's my honor today to present Mike Morrissey, class of 2006, for induction in the Stevenson Hall of Fame. I had the privilege of being one of Mike's coaches on the varsity basketball team for 3 years. Congratulations, Mike, to you and your family. You come from an awesome family, a very athletic family, and from what I hear, it's a pretty competitive family. Rumor has it that board games and ping pong matches at the Morrisseys can be quite intense. I suspect there were some pretty intense games on the driveway as well. And from what I hear, that Amy's probably the most competitive of the group. So I've really enjoyed getting to know you, your family, Mike, and coaching you and your brother and watching your sisters play basketball. And of course, who can forget Jim's performance in the Super Bowl Shuffle? I couldn't. I even went back and watched it just to. But let's just say I love the Morrissey family. You guys are awesome. So congratulations. Here's a list. Now this is in your little booklet if you haven't read it, but I'm going to go through them anyway. Here's a list of some of Mike's accolades as a three-sport athlete, and I think that's a credit right there. Being a three-sport athlete is a rare bird these days, and. He was all-conference in football, 2003, 2004, 2005. He was all-area football, 2004, 2005. 2005 year, he was captain of the all-area team. He was all-Lake County football in 2004 and 2005. He was Stevenson's outstanding senior athlete, 2005, 2006. He won the big gun in football in 2005, 2006. He was all-state football, 2005 to 2006, the Chicago Tribune, the Chicago Sun-Times, and the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association. Not bad. As you can see, he's most recognized as a football player for the Patriots. I never got to see Mike play football except on TV. During that time, I was spending my falls living with my son in Minnesota coaching football at Bethel University. And I'm a little bit lost today because this is the first time in 55 years I haven't been coaching football. So big game at Bethel today and I'm dying. But anyway, he was a 4-year varsity player at Stevenson, as Coach Mitz mentioned. Went on to play at Boston College as a walk-on, earned a scholarship there and became a starter for the Eagles. Earned 3 letters at Boston College for those efforts. People ask me a lot when he got announced he was going to Boston College as a walk-on, you think he can do it there? I don't know if he's good enough. And I said, don't ever bet against Mike Morrissey. That's what I would tell people. And he proved me right. So one of the accolades on there that I did not mention is that he was also awarded the Big Gun Award for basketball in that same year. Big gun in 2 sports in the same year, that's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. I'm going to give you some of Mike's basketball stats. Sorry, Mike. But I'm doing it for a reason. So he was second on the team in steals his sophomore year. He had 80 steals in his career. His senior year, he averaged almost 7 points a game. I looked up your three-point shooting percentages, and I'm not going to talk about that. But I bring this up because Mike did so much for our team that goes way beyond stats, way beyond stats. One of my friends at the Herald, Marty Machosik, I called him up and said, can you dig me up some articles from the 2006 season? So here's what some things people said about Mike. This is Pat Ambrose, the head basketball coach for Mike. I call him a money player. He does so many things well. This was from Patricia Babcock McGraw in the Herald after a 62-57 win at Libertyville. Hogan, that was Libertyville star player, came up empty in the clutch when the Stevenson defense struck again. Mike Morrissey blocked his runner down the lane, which would cut the lead to just 1 point with 40 seconds remaining. And then Pat Ambrose. Mike was such a warrior out there. He may not always get a lot of points, but he does so much for us. And then another article I found in the Herald says that apparently Mike owes all of his success to a fish named Nemo. You like that? Mike started having this thing about having to keep swimming, like Nemo in the movie Finding Nemo. It was like, I'm going to push through. I'm going to fight through the tough times. I'm going to keep swimming. And as Pat Ambrose said, he kept swimming. He might do a lot of things, not do a lot of things that you see in the stats, but he does so many things to help his team. One of my best memories of Mike happened after we had just defeated Hershey to win Stevenson's first regional basketball title since 1993, the first one that Pat and I were able to win together. We beat Hershey. We knew already that we were going to go play Glenbrook North in the sectional. We had to go at their place. They had a guy on their team by the name of John Shire. He was a high school All-American, later played at Duke, and is currently the head coach at Duke. Once the celebration was over, before we even showered and dressed, Mike went up to us and said, hey, I want to coach. I want to guard Shire. And all he did was hold him 10 points, which was about 18 below his average, I think. So I'll never forget that, because that's kind of typical of what Mike brought to our team. He had a lasting influence on our basketball program. His example of toughness, perseverance, and always putting the team first was instrumental in raising our program to another level, not just when he was here, but in the years to follow. He was the ultimate team first player, which I think is the highest accolade any athlete can receive. His infectious personality spread throughout our entire program. Mike, you're a Hall of Fame Stevenson athlete, but more importantly, you're a Hall of Famer as a person. Come on up. Congrats.
Thank you, Coach Swan. Some people might be wondering why I asked Coach Swan today with the list of basketball stats that he just railed off. But I'll tell you one thing, and I hope the 56 years says one thing, but Coach Swan is what it means to be a Stevenson Patriot. So I knew that in my time here. I think I might be unique in that sense, that as a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, that I looked over, and I don't know if Coach Swan gave me one piece of basketball advice in my 3 years on varsity, but I got more life lessons and more understanding of how a team operated from Coach Swan. And so I got plenty of dad jokes too, so that was the really good thing. I can't tell you how many times I've used the joke, and you tell someone, get Chaz, and no one knows what they're saying, and you say, get your Chaz off the stage. So that was what Coach Swan would do to you at 15, and you had no idea what was coming. So thank you, Coach Swan. I want to start, obviously, it'll be hard going last here. Obviously, some wonderful, wonderful people. That probably has a lot to do with Trish and Allison having to chase me relentlessly this summer to try and get some information. So I apologize to both of you, but thank you for putting together today. I'm honored to be part of this class. Obviously, some really wonderful people and wonderful athletes. There will always be a sense of imposter syndrome, I think, to a little bit of being part of this. And so, there's two things I took away from that and then writing this speech. The first was always be really kind to the people that have selection powers for the Hall of Fame. So as I looked through the committee, I was like, wow, okay, this makes a little more sense to me. And the second thing I thought of was I can't say thank you enough to the committee. As the oldest of 4 kids, that you put me in first means the world to me. I would not have been able to handle any of my siblings going in before me. So thank you very much for that. I wouldn't be here, obviously, without the support of my family. So I'm going to start with my wife, Megan. She was a classmate of mine here and a very close friend. And I teased her at coming over. I said the reason she was a close friend allowed me to focus on sports and academics, because she wouldn't give me the time of day back then. And much later in life, we came together, and I have 3 beautiful kids with James and Avery here today. So thank you for everything. Yeah, exactly. My parents and 3 siblings, 2 of which could be here today. I can't thank you enough for being some of my biggest fans and being so involved in sports and academics and FMP and all the things that, Stevenson embodied. As a parent now myself, I'm just starting to understand, as my 2 big ones start sports, the amount of time you spend on the weekends away from anything else you want to do. And we used to joke, my mom would tell people all the time that my brother and sisters were raised on a field or in a gym somewhere. And I'm like, oh, no, they really were. They spent about 8 hours every weekend, each day, Saturday and Sunday, doing that. So I totally understand why sports are such a big part of our life. My time at Stevenson was beyond anything I could have ever hoped for, from starting with junior Patriots through basketball, football, track and field. I played baseball for a year, all the different sports. My first high school season, Coach Mitz talked about, was our state championship run in '02. And I can't thank Coach Mitz enough for trusting a 14-year-old kid that had just played freshman football, that probably looked a lot more like Ian's build, like he talked about, than a football player. And I think I should have been a lot more nervous, looking back, right? I mean, I didn't play one practice in varsity football. And I remember Coach Mitz came and pulled me out of some class, and he said, you're starting on Friday. I said, starting what? And he's like, no, you're going to play, and you're going to play wide receiver. And I had to go learn the plays, and I had to go. It was so exciting. And, he made it feel like I could hang with anyone. So thank you, Coach. And, I was looking over. I was lucky enough to play. I'm pretty confident for the winningest football coach in school history and the winningest basketball coach. And so obviously I'm the correlation there, as we heard, all the wonderful stats. So, I listening to Coach Swan, I think back to basketball, and we were the first regional champions during that time, and I did the first 14 years. But a lot of the difficulties and anguish we probably put Coach Ambrose and Coach Swan through with some of my teammates, and hopefully less of me. But I like to be kind of the translator between the difficulty and the coaches. So I always say that we prepared the coaches for the good times, right? For my brother and his supporting cast, as I like to call them. I told my dad this, but I said, you have to walk before you can run, and you can't enjoy a Jalen Brunson unless you've watched Mike Morrissey try to dribble full court. So there was the obvious correlation there. So, to all my coaches across all the sports, thank you. I was thinking about this over the last couple of weeks. I counted over 50 names that I could still actively remember as coaches in my time here at Stevenson. And each one of them has obviously taught me something about life or about sport. So thank you, again, to Stevenson, to the committee, to Trish, and to everyone that put this together today. I'm honored to be part of this group, and I will say the satisfaction of knowing I'm local here. I live close by. I won't say where. But the fact that when I get to bring my kids back here, I get to now go show them the Hall of Fame each time will be pretty cool, and probably something they'll get tired of real quickly. So thank you. And thank you to everyone, and I hope everyone has had a wonderful time here today. Thank you.